Well, Jeff, I just wanted to tell you thanks for coming on the show. I really enjoyed Dealing with Idiots. I watched it last week. I liked it just as much as I did your first film. I want someone to eat cheese with.
Well, that's very kind of you, man. Thank you.
In regards with Dealing with Idiots, how closely does the movie cleave to your own experience as a parent? I mean, do you have a kid that's in Little League?
Not anymore at all. No. It's my imagination for the most part, but it is based on my own experiences, yes.
Uh-huh. Did you and your co-writer, Peter, is it Murrieta, is that right?
Peter Murrieta, that is correct, yes.
Did you guys do much research into the scads of unsavory incidents that happened on Little League fields around the nation?
Yeah, we did. I mean, his kid plays, my kids played. So we had and a few friends of ours gave us some examples, and I went to a few games. But I didn't have to do much research because I experienced it,
Yeah. I mean, your experience kind of like led you. I mean, you must have been surrounded by a lot of people, like a lot of the characters in the film are just obsessed with winning over just letting their kids have fun. Is that something that that's obviously something that you wanted to take aim at in the film.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to take aim at. But as much as I wanted to take aim at that, I wanted to make a funny movie that people dug more than proving a point.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it is funny, and I mean, I love, the kind of the slow burn aspects of the film, particularly when it comes to, your filming of your own characters' reactions as he's trying to interview each of these,
I appreciate that you dig that because I've gotten criticized for that quite a bit on this movie.
That's weird because I think those are some of the funniest moments when you're just looking at you reacting, or sometimes trying not to react to the craziness that's in front of your eyes.
Well, that's kind of based on me in real life, and the truth is, I figured out I made a movie that's really for fans of mine or fans of comedy. I think if you're not into comedy, then you won't dig this movie because it's not going to appeal to the general person who doesn't dig comedy.
Well, it doesn't have that sort of set up punchline kind of thing going on.
Right. Well, it's an indie movie with indie rhythms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a very leisurely pace without it being it's never dull. But it is very leisurely paced. I like to call it it's sort of like for me kind of like a Saturday afternoon kind of movie,
Yeah, well, that's a very nice compliment. I know what you mean by that.
I'm curious to know, given the amazing cast you're working with, how much leeway was given to everybody in terms of, picking up an improv and running with it, or
the entire movie was improvised. No one ever saw a script. I told people before each scene what was about to happen in the scene, and I let them have a lot of leeway in picking out their characters and developing their characters.
Mm-hmm. So when you were crafting, the structure of the film, you were also keeping actors in mind for certain roles.
Not initially, but as I began to rewrite, yes, that's when it sort of came clear who I wanted for each role.
Mm-hmm. I'm also curious about, what was your decision-making process like in deciding, how much to involve the kids in the story? I mean, as it is...
Well, no, from the get-go, I knew the kids were going to be heartily involved, that only at certain points. And then if you notice during the movie, until I come around to coach, we stay on one side of the fence. The parent side.
I did notice that, and I thought that was a really, really great directorial choice.
Thank you, man.
Just to feel like there was that barrier there, that you couldn't cross. And it's funny, there's a lot of scenes in it, too, where there's a lot of barriers that you can't cross, where, for instance, where Odenkirk's character tells you, don't cross this imaginary line back into my space, and then in the kitchen, in the lesbian's kitchen, where you can't come directly into the kitchen and everything.
Right,
so you're kind of you're kind of always kind of thrown in there as an outsider in these worlds, which was kind of a fascinating theme too. How difficult is it for you to direct yourself in films? I mean, is it?
It's very easy because the director knows what the actor can do, and the actor knows exactly what the director wants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you could say I'm my favorite actor to direct, and as an actor, I'm my favorite director. We have a clear understanding.
Uh-huh. And
yeah.
I mean, as you're working on Curb Your Enthusiasm, how has that informed your directorial style and your features?
Very much so, but also I have a huge influence. I'm influenced by everybody from Billy Wilder to Fellini, to Truffaut. I'm definitely influenced by a lot of other directors.
Mm. I wanted to. This is kind of an awesome. This is kind of an interesting question. I just have to ask you this. You and I sharing something in common in that we're both heavy guys, and
right.
one of the things I really find fun in your two features, and it's kind of a breath of fresh air for me, is that they don't talk down to their main characters just because they happen to be overweight. Even though, even on Curb Your Enthusiasm, you're not afraid at all to be called a fat fuck or whatever, which I always think is funny on that show. But do you see, as I do, a sort of a constant discrimination against, fat characters in Hollywood movies?
When you do, it's generally because it's written by thin people who don't get it.
Uh-huh. Do you think they even see it? Because when you try and I've pointed out on this show to my co-host, I've said, usually when you see fat people in movies, they're usually either cannon fodder or they're, the best you can hope for is that they'll be funny and likable. But most of the time, they're either cannon fodder or they're portrayed as idiots or villains.
It's just bad writing. That's all it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I also feel like like people out in Hollywood are kind of afraid of fat people in some way. Is that something? Is that just in my mind or what?
No, not that I've ever noticed in terms of being afraid.
Yeah.
Maybe they're afraid that we'll sit on them.
Well, maybe they're afraid that we'll open them up to the joys of eating just a big old sloppy pizza instead of.
Yes, but I don't even do that anymore.
Well, I know you lost a lot of weight. I know you went through some health problems and so forth. So
yeah, but I don't eat fast food. I don't eat wheat. I don't eat sugar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to watch my intake of those things too, and
well, you'll feel better. I know. For me, people ask me if I feel funnier, and I am funnier because I have more energy. For example, I'm studying to be a doctor at UCLA.
Are you seriously?
Yes, I want to be a doctor at UCLA, so I'm going to go to medical school.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah, listen. No, I'm only kidding with that. I just don't. You took that seriously because I say it very dry, but I'm only kidding with that.
So it's easy. You're like a friend of mine who's like I'm easily taken in by his dry kind of lies that he tells me. So, but
to me, I'd rather I want to be a doctor at UCLA or own a string of funeral parlors.
Well, they're both very profitable. I would dare say even more profitable ventures than even being a comedian can be. Even one of the best comedians out there.
Well, thank you, my friend.
But on that note, I also wanted to ask you. In the film, your character says that he's one of the top 20 comedians. And I would say that you are definitely in the top 20 comedians. But who are some comedians out there that you just absolutely adore and admire?
Zach Galifianakis, Tig Notaro, Patton Oswalt. What was his name? He told me with me last night. Pete Holmes. There's a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough job. What is the toughest thing about being up there on stage?
What is? I don't know. I don't see it as being tough. I like it. It's fun. So I don't know what's the toughest thing. I guess when the audience doesn't laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I mean, I would imagine that just makes you just want to crawl off the stage and weep.
No. I feel sad when audiences don't get simple premises when they're stupid. That makes me sad.
So, do you feel? I know that you said that the reception to the film. How has the reception for the film been for you? Do you think that people get it?
I think the audiences get it, but the critics don't. I want you to say hello to somebody. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Who are we talking to?
This is Dean Treadway of Movie Geeks United.
How are you doing?
Who am I talking to?
This is Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
Oh, what are you doing?
I just interrupt phone interviews. I just walk around bugging people.
We love it.
Yeah, just mixing it up.
Exactly. So what do you do, Amanda?
Hi, that's Amanda. She's just walking around, and I thought you might want to meet her. Lovely and beautiful girl, very talented at her job. I'm going to stop.
Who knows? This might even be edited out. Who knows?
No, keep that in. Don't edit that out.
No?
No, keep that in. That makes the podcast interesting. That I told you to say hello to somebody, and your awkwardness with her, I enjoyed. I think your listeners will enjoy that. And you should keep this part, too.
Well, I will. We will.
One of the tricks to being more popular is to be in the moment and keep it in the moment.
That's true. You're absolutely right. I think we do that pretty well on our show. I think if you take a listen to our show.
All right, well then don't edit that out.
Okay, we won't. This will go on completely unedited.
Good. That's what I want.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that I really enjoy your movies. Of course, I enjoy your comedy and your acting wherever you're at, and I just really thank you for being on this show.
My pleasure,
really,
my friend. I look forward to the next time. Take care.